All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the finals, the creme de la creme, GuC versus MuFC, aka Team E in the brackets. They've made it to the finals. We now have a best-of-3 series on our hands. 10K in Malaysian currency on the line. The RM, it's about 3.3K in US dollars. So a lot on the line here, actually. I'm Zyori. Going to be joining me again is Min. Min, tell me about this series. I know you're excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this, and wow, I'm so excited that I'm lost of my words. So I'm really looking forward to this match, and this is gonna be the really a really great match between these two great teams that we see. I mean, we know the potential of GuC because we have been casting their games, and they really did not fail to disappoint us, not even once. So wow, I'm really looking forward to their performance against E here, as also known as Eclipse. So, wow, E is a well-known team. We all know they defeated MuFC, which is I'm not really sure, but I guess it's the Smurf team of MuFC. So they are pretty solid, and these two solid teams is gonna do some destruction game over here, and it's gonna be a massacre, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely right. So yeah, so to clarify that a little bit, MuFC, Team Eclipse, Team E, that's sort of like the B roster for MuFC. So they are tagged up. It's sort of like MuFC B team, so to speak. Not to put them down, but the primary MuFC roster is what you were just talking about, NUFC in the brackets for this tournament, where we can't confirm 100%, but we're pretty sure that they're the real MuFC Smurfs, where they did face off, I think, in the round of 8. So regardless, plenty of skills to play the bills in this match. And GuC in particular, we've been watching them so much throughout this tournament. It's kind of nice to see them make it to the finals, mostly because I've developed an attachment to these players. You know, I finally am remembering their names. I've bonded with GuC a little bit in this tournament. Hopefully some of you guys have as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the bans here, Min. MuFC going to start us, or pardon me, E going to start us off with the first ban here on Tempest, followed up by Armadon, Jeremiah, Pebbles, Ophelia, Magmus, Tundra, and Draconis. Any thoughts about these bans here, Min?
Well, nothing much of the ban. Nothing really stands out, and we finally see a Tundra ban. I mean, Tundra is often banned in international competitive scene, if I'm not wrong, because he's such a great potential hero. He can scout with his hawk, and his ultimate is such a great executing skill to actually knock a lockdown carry hero. So, well, we finally see a Tundra ban after so long. All these games that we have been casting.
Yeah, absolutely right. We haven't really seen Tundra at all, partially because he is a really high skill cap hero, sort of similar to Ophelia. If you don't have someone on your team that is proficient with that hero, he can actually be a little bit more of a hindrance than a good thing because of that high skill cap to really be able to play him at a Moon Meander level. Of course, he's kind of the poster boy for Tundra players. So, like you said, though, interesting to see him banned nonetheless. Bubble's going to be first picked here for Team Eclipse on the Hellborn side. GuC going to go with a Luna Fade for their first round of picks. No surprise to see a Luna in that first grouping of picks. We've talked about her quite a bit. But Fade is kind of interesting. We've been seeing her at sort of an increasing frequency and well, in more of that support role. Kind of go for the portal key initiation style. And it seems to have been working quite well from the little bit that we've seen Fade throughout this tournament.
Yeah, that's right. Like what I have said yesterday, Fate has a good ultimate, and this ultimate gives Fate a really good ganking capability where he can roam around easily and set up ganks pretty much a sure kill if there's not much backup for the opposite team. And yeah, I really love the ultimate, and the stun as well. It's only 280 magic damage, but sometimes it seems more hurt than it seems to be. So, yeah.
Yeah, and of course the thing with the Burning Shadows as well is how wide it is. A lot of people don't realize that that spell has a whole lot of width to it. So it's fairly easy to catch several heroes if they're grouped up. It has a much wider range than some of the other line stuns like Lava Surge from Magnus, for example. So that is one thing about Fade that really makes her popular. Polywog Priest and Moon Queen going to be added to the GuC roster. We've been seeing a lot of Moon Queen play, and it looks like that's not going to slow up whatsoever here in this final series. And interesting, I mean, not that Moon Queen is bad. We've talked about a lot of her positives, but in the international scene, you know, carries like Silhouette are sought after much more so than Moon Queen. So it makes you wonder a little bit, why Moon Queen so much? GuC seems pretty comfortable with her, and we'll see how it works out for him here in the first game. More interesting picks continuing for Team E. They're going to finish off their roster with Wretched Hag, Witch Slayer, and Scout. Wow, going to see another Scout here, man.
Yeah, definitely. We know that Cap Arsenal, he played a good Scout with the Frostburn build against MuFC the other day. So, well, it totally works out fine, and he finished off with a Behemoth's Heart. Will be able to take down Silhouette and the other carry, which is Dark Lady.
Yep.
Well, he's a good Scout player, so no doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely right, guys. If there's one VOD from, well, probably this entire tournament, depending on how these games go, but certainly from yesterday, the E versus NUFC game, absolutely insane. The last game from last night, 75-minute match. It was Scout versus Dark Lady and Silhouette. Absolutely insane. Go check it out. It's on YouTube. It's cataloged. It's ZyoriTV. Definitely a VOD verse worth watching after you're done with this series. So, as you said, he has experience playing Scout and to some success. So, we'll see how it goes. Last pick going to be Plague Rider for GuC, a roster that looks strikingly similar to what they were running earlier on.
Yep. Not much big of a changes except I don't think they had Fade the other round. So, maybe they changed it to Fade this round. So, yeah, actually, Fade is a really good counter to Scout. Remember yesterday's game where the Scout was too overconfident, where Fate actually tried to pick him off with an eye, and they actually pick off Scout, but they threw the chance away where two of their carries went straight ahead for the base, and yeah, they threw the chance away. So I can say that Fate could actually counter Scout really well with his ultimate.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Fade can get a nice aggressive eye pretty early on, and that can be something very difficult for a Scout to deal with. Of course, Electric Eye does give Scout some additional utility as well. One of the things I'm pretty curious about, though, is how are they going to build Scout in this game? Is this going to be another one of these matches where we see Scout avoiding the Rune Cleaver, going to Ghost Marchers and a little bit more of kind of a mid-game oriented Scout, I would call it, and then... you know, I hate to call it that because really it does transition nicely into the late game as well. But we'll see. We'll see. Normally I would say Rune Cleaver all the way, but based on the Scout game we saw before, no Rune Cleaver, and it worked out fairly well for him. I'll be quite curious. The Way of Lanes, let's take a look here. We see GuC on the Legion side, and they are going to be running a tri-lane, a Luna, Fade, and Moon Queen down here in the bottom. They're going to throw a nice aggressive lane ward down. They're going to be going up against the Suicide Bubbles for Team E. In the mid, going to be a solo Polywog Priest up against Wretched Hag, Witch Slayer. I don't know where Witch Slayer is going to end up here. He very well may rotate to the top for a bit of a tri-lane MuFC style, where they'll be going up against the Suicide Plague Rider. What do you think, man? Thoughts about these lanes?
Well, it's pretty standard. For the Hellborn team, we see a Suicide Bubbles and a mid Wretched Hag. So, Witch Slayer, I'm not really sure why he's here at middle. I will think that he will proceed to top to do a tri lane, but it seems that he's heading to middle lane, and I think he's gonna do a roaming strategy right here. So. Well, yeah, it's fine as well, I think, because right now the Legion team has a Plague Rider solo Suicide, so I don't think Witch Slayer is needed at top lane. Glaciers alone will be able to be sufficient for Scout to ensure a farm.
Yeah, and of course they're going to be going up against a tri-lane that the Legion are running as well, so you got to keep in mind if Moon Queen is in a total free farm environment, Scout may be at a little bit of a disadvantage. Moon Queen actually going to miss a couple of those last hits though in the first wave, picking up only 2 of them. So actually a little bit of sloppy play there for Moon Queen to start us off. Up in the top lane, though, Glacius and Plague Rider going toe-to-toe. Plague Rider going to be the one to head for the hills. Very nicely done by Glacius. Of course, going Extinguish first, or Extinguish, pardon me. Plague Rider really doesn't bring too much to the table in the way of harassment to go toe-to-toe, going the pretty standard defensive deny build. And Glacius kind of taking advantage of that. Pixie Baby, of course, the female player here for MUFC's B team, Team Eclipse. Doing a very nice job to start us off. The Witchslayer Hag, though, I'm a little bit surprised still. I thought this Witchslayer may be roaming around, as you were suggesting. And to me, this is one of these scenarios where they need to either pick up an early kill on Polywog Priest, or this Witchslayer needs to leave the lane. If he just hangs around and plays static free farm game, I think that's going to hold Hag back more than anything else. Although Luna's going to rotate mid now, so perhaps Witchslayer is going to hang along a bit longer to level things out.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, Witchslayer might set up some kills at the mid lane, if not just rotate to other lanes to assist his other teammates, because staying at the middle lane, he will be stepping up Ratchet Hag's experience. Then he will be, I mean, Polywog Priest will overtake his level and he will be in big trouble. So yeah, if you are at mid, then make yourself useful. If not, just let Ratchet Hag get the experience. And yeah.
Exactly right, and that's one of the things we've ran into throughout this tournament quite a bit with roaming supports and whatnot. You have to be very wary of where you put that experience early on, and we've seen some of the more successful teams with these tri-lanes actually take the two supports, keep them in the jungle, keep them a little bit further away from the creeps so that primary farm recipient can really maximize. We're going to see actually 3 heroes in the mid lane here. Bubble's just going to totally sack the suicide lane. He was having a bit too rough of a time, and he's just going to come mid, so it's actually a 3v2. They've rotated a tri-lane with Wretched Hag now. And MUFC has totally sacked the bottom. Moon Queen, absolute free farm, 14-6. Scout in the top lane, 15-3. I don't know how that's possible. Moon Queen's still missing last hits down there. She should be pulling ahead of Scout pretty quickly here. I mean, he's having a pretty good time, but still, Plague Rider's denying that creep every wave should really start to add up. On paper, at least. Polywog Priest going to take some harassment here in the mid lane. Hag going to get stunned in tower range. And that's actually going to be quite a bit of solid counter harassment. She's going to be forced back. Bubbles has now moved back to the bottom lane. I don't know why Bubbles went mid. That was really kind of an interesting play right there. He's now even further behind in this already difficult 2v1 bottom lane.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I did not know why Bubbles actually hit on to middle lane, because he's only level 2 and he served no purpose at the mid lane, so might as well you just try to get some experience at the bottom lane. Not you don't get any creeps, but at least some experience, and you will have some level, and when you reach level 6, then you will serve some usefulness to your teammates.
Exactly right. Wretched Hag playing with fire right here. Luna's got a power throw up. Needs to be a little bit careful. 4-minute rune. It's going to spawn top. Lucky Witchslayer going to stumble upon it. Meanwhile, in the bottom way, Bubble's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. He's going to be able to survive. Shell Surf to safety and use that potion. But yeah, you can see this bottom lane, the double, well, the stun from Fade, the double nuke, I should say, with that Moonbeam from Moon Queen and Fade, absolutely devastating to Bubbles right now. Not much he can do. And this is one of these things about Moon Queen. I saw a couple people in chat saying, kind of along the same lines I was, well, why Moon Queen over some of the other carries available in the pool? You know, you've got your Mage Bane, you've got your Dark Lady Silhouette. Why go for Moon Queen? And part of the reason is she's going to peak in that mid-game. She is a great mid-game semi-carry just because of that magic damage. The level 2 Moon Finale at level 11, the Moonbeam, the Multi-Strike. She's going to peak way before this Scout with equal farm. So that is going to open up a timing window for this Legion team to really put a lot of pressure on, especially if Scout goes for more economical Rune Cleaver, which it's looking like he may do. He did go Life Tube first. That is going to give it a window of opportunity where Moon Queen can be quite aggressive. So it does put the clock on. It does make this Legion team a little bit more mid-game focused, but I imagine that is the advantageous aspect of taking Moon Queen over a harder carry.
Yeah, exactly right. So we'll be seeing Scout going for maybe I don't think he will be going for a Helm or a Black Legion or an Owlstone. So I assume that he is going for a Rune Cleaver, so to actually speed up his farming, because if he does not go for the Rune Cleaver build, I don't think he will be able to catch up with Moon Queen's farm, because once Moon Queen gets his Whispering Helm and blah blah blah, and he will increase his farm, really shooting up the sky. And as fast as rocket. So to be able to catch up with Moon Queen's farm, he should go for the Rune Keeper's strategy.
Yeah, I like the Rune Cleaver. It's just a matter of really it puts the pressure on this Legion team. With Polywog Priest, they are going to have a great mid-game pushing team if he can hit level 11 kind of on point with Moon Queen. And then, of course, Plague Rider, Fate, and Aluna all fit into that mid-game kind of strategy as well. If they can take an early edge and really punish this scout, it can absolutely work, but they need to make sure that that's their strategy, and they need to have aggression to match. This isn't going to be one of these games where GuC will have the luxury of being able to sit back and farm very comfortably. Of course, that is going to benefit our Hellborn team much more with this scout, who already has pretty solid farm. If we look at the raw stats here, Moon Queen 39 and 18 in the bottom lane, Scout 41 and 15 in the top, so they're about dead even right now. A couple of creeps in between, but both of them are farming at an incredible rate. It's just going to be a matter of what happens in the mid-game. Plague Rider going to get shot in the face by the marksman shot. Scout could potentially just go in here for a kill. Plague Rider doesn't have enough to use the ultimate, actually. Just now getting enough mana, but I don't know. A little bit of a kill potential up here for Scout. He's not going to man up on it, though, it doesn't look like.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to... He wants to take the risk. He does not have any shields, and... Yeah. Well, he will just take the safer route and just keep farming and farming. So we can see like both teams are going for a farming strategy, really static farming and not much action going on. The score is still 0-0. So, well, this is gonna be a long game. We're gonna see here.
Well, going to be a long early game, at least. Right now, the static farming is fine for the Legion side. So I was just saying, you know, they're going to have to be aggressive, and that's going to come maybe 10 minutes from now. Right now, they can afford to sit back. It's still the laning phase. It's really important for them not to concede early deaths than it is for them to pick up early kills. So they are going to focus on rune control a little bit here. We'll see where this 8-minute rune spawns. Of course, GuC camping out the bottom. And I think MuFC going to send somebody top. Yeah, it's going to be an Invis rune up here in the top lane. Witch Slayer, again, Lucky Dog, Flawless. I think that's back-to-back Invis runes top for him. Maybe in between, but Wretched Hag going to hop up there, throw it in the bottle, and there you go. Interestingly enough, both mid heroes, though, you'd think Polywog Priest Hag is the kind of heads-up mid, but both of them reasonably low level here. Both actually level 5, not the leading levels on their teams because of this kind of tri-lane action coming about. So we'll see. This mid lane may get a lot more interesting once the Bat Blast as well as the Voodoo Wards become a reality.
Yeah, we can say that once their hero reach level 6, I'm sure that things gonna happen. So yeah, we are going to wait. We are all waiting for the key point. Just level 6 at the mid, and definitely something is gonna happen. But Polywog Priest will not be able to do a ward trap on Wretched Hag, not so easily, but he'll be able to do it on Witch Slayer. So with the assist of Aluna, it should be possible to actually land a kill on Witch Slayer easily.
Poor Witch Slayer, probably going to get picked on here a little bit in this fight. But we'll see. Of course, Wretched Hag with that invisibility may be able to set something up upon hitting level 6.
Yep.
The bottom lane here, thought Bubbles may be in a little bit of a sticky situation, but he's going to be able to shell surf to safety. Moon Queen going to be working towards her Whispering Helm. Has that Helm of the Victim already. Hungry, yeah, the Hungry Spirit going to be coming out here in just a couple hundred gold. Still a very passive game, though. 9 minutes in, no first blood, or bloodlust, rather, on the board. Interestingly enough, though, 1,400 experience lead in favor of this Legion side, and I'm not really sure where it's coming from. Looks like just across the boards, they're pulling ahead. Of course, some of that is going to be Plague Rider, denying these creeps. That's just less experience on the field for that top lane to absorb. So that will show a small shift early on, but it looks like they are just getting a slightly more efficient laning phase here, and doing it quite well. Looks like there's going to be initiation, though. Plague Rider going to come in, not going to be able to get the Plague Carrier off. Too low on mana. It does. Oh, Wretched Hag almost going down. Going to be able to blink back just in the nick of time. Is going to be able to sip up that bottle, pop the Invis. I didn't catch how many hit points he had, but it had to have been in the single digits. Wow, that was incredible. Huge reaction right there from our Grey Wretched Hag.
Yeah, definitely. Well, not the Legion team actually not able to burst down Wretched Hag even with the Aluna's power throw. But if just now the Aluna actually used her power throw to use against Witch Slayer, then it will be a kill. So, well, I think they want to bring Ratchet Hack down so eagerly, and well, afraid that it's not enough.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Hag is just not a prime target. Like you were saying, Witch Slayer was there. They probably should have just focused Witch Slayer, though. That was probably a bad batch of RNG. In most cases, I think Hag probably would have fallen. I still think Plague Rider, at that Plague GuC would have bounced at least once between those two heroes. That would have been so much more valuable than throwing out that Contagion nuke. So a small misplay from Plague Rider as well. Not paying close enough mana attention to that mana pool. All the while, though, Scout was continuing to farm. Again, looking at these raw scores, Scout and Moon Queen for that matter. 70-40 split. Well, 70-40 on Moon Queen, 70-20 on Scout, but a very comparable level of farm. Both of them holding even at 350 GPM. This is kind of the closest carry farm I think we have ever seen together, Min. Pretty remarkable how close they are, keeping up with each other in raw creep score as well as just raw GPM.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not sure why Scout is on par with Moon Queen, where Moon Queen should actually surpass Scout, because Plague Rider is constantly denying the creep, and Plague Rider is in big trouble right now. But he's not going to cast the Plague GuC, and well, Glaciers going to go down. He's going to cast the Plague GuC on the Glaciers. Well, he actually wanted to cast on Scout, but he actually cancelled it and actually placed his ultimate onto Glaciers. And
yeah.
Wow.
Very unfortunate for Hiroki right there. Of course, the Bloodlust did go in favor of the Hellborn team. Pixie Baby was able to pick up the kill onto Hiroki first, so that was a very nice cost-effective exchange for our Hellborn side. Wretched Hag trying to get that invisibility rune. She's going to be able to bottle it up. Luckily for Hag, it takes more than one auto attack to kill those runes. So Polywog Priest, the right idea, but unfortunately not able to make it happen. Pardon me. Scout's been pulling up that gold. He's going to go ahead and just right-click a Runed Cleaver, going Runed Cleaver first. Now, this is dangerous territory here that GuC is getting into. They allowed this Scout to just go straight for Runed Cleaver. Generally, you want to pressure that Scout a little bit, force him into, at the very least, Red Boots first. If not something else slightly more defensive. Even an Iron Shield can slow down that timing a little bit. A 12-minute Runed Cleaver is incredible, man. This Scout is going to be able to skyrocket on the farm. He should start surpassing this Moon Queen very quickly. He's got a nice triple stack in the jungle here, and he should be able to kill it fairly easily. He's even going to pull him back and make it kind of a quad stack, if you will. Well, maybe not. He was going to try at least. A solid effort. Wow. Absolutely incredible. This Scout is going to be scary pretty damn quick in this match.
Yeah, definitely. With the Rune Cleaver right now, his GPM is definitely going to constant rising, as you can see right now. Scout actually surpassed Moon Queen in the GPM. So, well, they had to do something about the Scout, and at least to kill him once, if not twice, to actually slow down his GPM.
Oh, they're going to come in. There's the slow from Glacius, and this Hellborn side going to play that much more passively than they needed to. I guess they were afraid of incoming ports, probably a smart play to back it up, but could have potentially pressured that Plague Rider just a little bit harder. Of course, Plague Rider does have some pretty solid movement speed. He does have his Steam Boots complete. He's running at 375, and with Bubbles only on red boots, Scout without boots at all, and Glacius only on reds as well. Perhaps that influenced some of the decision-making not to dive the speedy Plague Rider here. Of course, as we mentioned before, Hiroki tends to be a bit more of a carry player, so regardless of who he's playing, you can expect that he'll be farming up at least a little bit. Sitting 22-14, not bad for a Suicide Plague Rider. Gonna take some harassment, but he's still in pretty good shape.
Yeah, definitely. So, Plague Rider he's not really that bad, and he's really doing quite a good job. Oh, he's a bit danger. Wow, a Sona screen followed by a Dove Blast. Well, our term, Dove Blast onto him, and there he goes. Wow,
that
nice
was a big Dove Blast. Yeah, beautifully done. Beautifully done. Of course, play on words here with the Wretched Hag skin, whatever it is, Illusionist Hag, or whatever it is, Magician Hag. What is it? I can't remember now.
Hocus look or something.
Hocus Pocus Hag, that's it. Yeah, there you go.
Hocus Pocus.
So, of course, doves instead of bats. That's the joke. It's still called Bat Blast, even though the doves come out. But a nice kill right there. Smart play. I don't know how to say his name. I guess it's G-Tai here. But uh-oh. Is there a Play GuC coming out? It's going to come a little bit late. Not going to catch any bounces. Still going to hit Scout. Scout's going to run out of mana here, though. He's going to be invis for maybe a second or two. Luckily, that regen from Rune Cleaver will buy him a little bit of extra time. He has picked up his Ghost Marchers as well. There's been quite the hot debate about Ghost Marchers versus Steam Boots on Scout. I think there's a little bit to each his own. I used to be on the side of Steam Boots every game, but the Ghost Marchers have grown on me a little bit. Having that sprint proves to be quite valuable at times. And also, all the while that was happening, in the bottom lane, GuC able to push that Tier 1 tower. So that is going to help curb that gold deficit a little bit, but already behind by about 2.4k experience here, 15 minutes in.
Yeah, definitely. So right now, Moon Queen is going to farm the neutrals and perhaps to shoot out some of her GPM and Scout as well. So yeah, it's going to back to static farming game again.
And look at this in the jungle right here. Moon Queen with 2 triple stacks. And going to be able to just use her little bouncy glaive to make it happen. That multi-strike ability so powerful. I saw someone in chat earlier talking about Moon Queen's ability to clear structures as well, and that's something we mentioned, Min. In that late game, when pushing becomes a factor, Moon Queen can clear out the structures in a base so quickly. Those bounces just add up once she gets farmed, and it can be ridiculous, especially in those team fights as well. That AoE damage, just so hard to deal with. I mean, the only way to counter it is to spread out, and they bounce pretty damn far. She's already got that Whispering Helm and has now picked up the Firebrand. So, glance at the GPM chart, how's she doing against Scout? And actually doing pretty damn well. Having those supports in the jungle to pick up those triple stacks, really making her life a lot easier. And even though Scout went that Rune Cleaver first, they're still pretty close, within 10 GPM. I think that speaks to Moon Queen's power so far in this game. Scout has now picked up, oh no, he's had his Ghost Marchers, so hasn't made any other exciting item pickups since we last checked. Plague Rider going to be working towards that Astrolabe, certainly as we would expect as well.
Yeah, and looks like there's an action going up at the top lane. There's a ward planted by Scout, so Fate got to be real careful, but he's still going to go. Scout is in big trouble, and Fate will be down and will be killed by Hack, and Hack will pursue on Plague Rider, and he's going to definitely go down right here and killed by, wow, a nice ultimate coming from Moon Queen, and Moon Queen is in big trouble here. Yes, Ice Imprisonment custom by Glacius as he's going to go down here. Wow, but before he goes down, he brings someone down with him, which is Ratchet Hack.
Yep.
Wow.
So
there's a trade going on, yeah.
Going to end up a 1 for 3 here, of course, in favor of the Hellborn. Kind of unfortunate. I mean, GuC right there had the right idea. They had a couple of nice abilities that went off. Unfortunately, Hiroki didn't get the Plague Carrier off, and I think that was kind of the key facet right there. They just needed to choreograph that fight a little bit better. All the while, Tofu was able to take out the Tier 1 in the mid lane, though, so at least finding a positive against that string of negatives. Again, helping to curb that gold deficit, though it's increasingly favorable for Team E over there on the Hellborn. I don't know, man. What do you think? Just based on how well this of a start this Scout's gotten, getting that tower kill as well, that's going to push him over the top. 430 GPM. He is on the up and up, going to be able to take out yet another triple stack here in the jungle. I have to give a lot of credit to these supports on both teams, Glacius and Aluna in particular. They have both been doing a phenomenal job stacking these Ancients, keeping up with rounds. This is one of these games I'd love to take this replay and just map the paths that they've been taking in the jungle by themselves. Kind of demonstrate this is what you should be doing to all those support players out there in the pub scene.
Yep, exactly right. We know that from the previous game from GuC, there are Glaciers in non-stop, continuously stacking the ancient creep. So, well, I really like this kind of playstyle, and this is what the supporters should do for their carry to actually boost up the farm as soon as possible.
Yep.
So, yeah, well played by both teams, constantly stacking up the ancient creep and creeping, and not just the ancient creep, but the hard camps and the easy camps as well. So,
yep.
Really a lot of work done by the supporting team.
Yeah, it looks so easy when you see a Scout with a Rune Cleaver clearing it, but a lot of work did go into those creeps. Scout is now picked up in Abyssal Skull, so he's got some lifesteal on the field. I love the choice there. He's now moved into a Mighty Blade. I imagine that's going to turn in straight to a Shrunken Head, but very well could be the Frostburn. Lord knows we've seen our share of Frostburns throughout this tournament, Min, for better or for worse. In my opinion, I'd love to get some numbers on that and see how successful Frostburn's been, but it seems most games where the carry goes Frostburn first, they don't come out very successful. But we'll see what he ends up doing here. Tier 1 in the top lane going to fall in favor of the Legion team. They're going to be able to make it back down, and they're going to pour it in maybe a little bit too early. Not going to be able to get a deny. The Bat Blast going to connect. Fade going to get obliterated. Nice double tap going to come out for Hag to start this fight off. Bubbles going to be able to catch a nice Kelp field as well. Polywog Priest going to throw down the wards. There's the tongue tie on the Glacius, and it is going to be enough for a kill. Hat trick for Hag, though. Legion team gets totally scraped up. A 1-for-5 exchange. They lose the tower as well. It was a great thought to come in and try and support that tower, but unfortunately they set up a beautiful Bat Blast for Hag. And, wow, 10-3 now, 20 minutes in. Team Eclipse looking to be in good shape.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, I learned something new today again. When they had a scout, never do mass teleport like that, because once you teleport, you're 5 over there and everyone gets silenced. And the scout just planted a ward there, and when everyone comes in, everyone gets silenced, and Heck just do a Bat Blast and just obliterate everyone from the Legion team. So wow, really nice coordination coming out from the Hellborn team. I really love their teamwork down there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look at Hag's farm already, going straight for a Shrunken Head. The sort of go-to Hag build for so long has been Nullstone first. And kind of regardless, it doesn't seem to matter who, where, what, or when, Nullstone on Hag is the item to go. And he's going to stray from the norm a little bit. Going to go Mystic Vestments into Shrunken Head. He's got 6 of the 10 kills for his team right now. That is one scary, wretched Hag, if I've ever seen one. Hocus Pocus Hag at that. On top of that, we've got Scout still farming away. He's got another 3k gold in the bank. If he wants a Shrunken Head, he's got enough to just finish it off. Wow. I'm still kind of shocked at how fast he's taken off here. And I know we did say with that early Rune Cleaver it would be good, but 22 minutes, 565 GPM, still damn impressive. He's going to move into the jungle and continue clearing it up. Moon Queen, 2300 in the bank. I imagine she'll be finishing up that Geometer's Bane here after a few more creep rotations.
Wow, at the mid lane, Ratchet Head faces some problem over here, but with the Shrunken Head, I don't think there's much problem. So, yeah. Well, that's one good thing if you go Shrunken Head as a first item for Ratchet Head.
Yep, and there you go. Shrunken Head, haste, and double damage on. It's a shame that Hag couldn't make something happen right there. Just the sort of the trifecta of runes and buffs. But they are going to be able to take out this tier 1 tower in the mid lane, it looks like. Still 20 seconds on this double damage. Yeah, it's going to fall pretty easily. Actually, Scout going to be the one to pick up that last hit. We got some initiation here. Luna going to get dropped. Plague Rider going to fall shortly after. The Bat Blast from Hag going to come out. And definitely some overkill, but still going to be able to take that double tap. Nonetheless, that's going to take Hag to 8 out of the 13 kills here for the Legion team. And of course, they did finish off Fade there in the mix as well. 3-for-0 exchange as well as the tower. 10k gold, 13k experience deficit now in favor of our Hellborn side, man.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, their coordinations are really good and they really impressed me a lot. Just now, the Bubbles really did a great job. Curb field 3 heroes down there and wow, managed to set up 3 for nothing down there, and wow, they just keeps on impressing me nonetheless.
Yep, absolutely right. Myself as well. Scout gonna go ahead and he will go for that Shrunken Head right away, but he also is gonna pick up another Mighty Blade on top of that. So very well could be Shrunken Head into Frostburn, or hell, maybe even just straight into a Frostwolf Skull. You never know with a Scout on Team MuFC. It could be anything. Could be anything. But he is pretty damn tanky. 1400 HP on that Scout. That's not too bad considering he's got lifesteal as well. Bubbles now has a portal key. We've talked about portal key on Bubbles quite a bit throughout this event, and that definitely does give him quite a bit more utility as well as a lot of initiation power. Portal key going to be picked up on Witch Slayer as well, so Team Eclipse here are going to have absolutely no problem with initiation in these upcoming battles.
Yep, definitely. With the portal keys, they are ready for any battles, and yeah, they can just like find opportunities and catch few of their heroes. Like it's the best to drop Polywalk Priest or Moon Queen so that they can ensure a smooth progression of pushing. So with the Polywalk Priest and the Moon Queen both alive at the same time, it will be more difficult for Team E to actually proceed to tower pushing. So they might find some opportunity to fully utilize the portal key to actually catch.
Yep.
Yeah, catch them up and bring them down.
Absolutely, and you know, Moon Queen going for Geometer's Bane first, well, I guess second after Whispering Helm, and never a bad choice. I mean, that's a great item, but to me, this might be one of these games where an early Shrunken Head may be the way to go. Between Wretched Hag's damage output, the silence from Bubbles, and then all that crowd control that Witch Slayer can throw, and of course all the crowd control Glacius as well. I don't know, Shrunken Head just seems a little bit too valuable to pass up. I think Moon Queen's going to find herself hard-pressed to survive these incoming team fights. We're going to see that tier 2 in the bottom lane get taken out very easily. Scout going to pick up at least his 3rd tower kill of the game, if not his 4th. He may very well have picked up all 4 of those tower kills. He's just been doing a hell of a job. 580 GPM, still on the up and up now, bordering 600. You got to give some credit to Moon Queen as well, holding about 420 GPM. That's pretty damn impressive. She's been doing a great job as well, especially considering her team is behind by about 10 kills, 3 to 13. Holding that level of GPM is pretty damn good.
Yep, totally agree with that. So, well, Moon Queen is he's fine. He has Geometer's Bane, but like you said, for this match, I think that Shrunken Head is way better than Geometer's Bane, because if Moon Queens get locked down by Witch Slayer, then she will waste her Geometer's Bane without even doing anything, because the Hex is too fast. I mean, when he blinks, when Witch Slayer actually blinks to you and do his Hex on you, it's immediate, and you might just get burst down within the Hex limit. And yeah, that's why I always think that for this game, Shrunken Head is a better choice compared to Geometer's Bane.
Yeah, and that's a great thing to put out. That's why Witch Slayer is such a powerful initiator once he gets that portal key. The cast time on the miniaturization is just ridiculous. It's not a number that we get to see too vibrantly here through the tooltip, but it is a very important mechanic of that spell. It's so hard to react to. Kind of like the Jolt from Polywalk Priest. That cast time is just so short. You know, it's almost like an instant spell, unlike something like the Pyromancer stun. Fade going to be in some trouble here. That's going to be an easy kill. Critting for 500. Level 6 Fade only has 700 hit points. This is going to be an easy 3-shot for Scout right there. Sort of showing off how powerful he is now with the token as well as a Brutalizer in the inventory. Also sitting on level 16, the highest level in the game. Looking a little bit grim for GuC here in Game 1. Again, guys, this is a best-of-3 series here in the finals. So at least one more game coming after this. GuC will have a chance to bring it back if this Scout proves to be a bit too much for them to handle now that we're approaching the 30-minute mark here in game number 1. This tier 2 tower in the mid looking like it's going to fall. Wretched Hag going to clear up the creeps, and yeah, no defense going to come this tower's way. Not much GuC can do. I think it's a smart play to sack it. They're just going to turtle up in the base. Probably going to be forced to sack this tier 2 up at the top lane as well. And we'll see where MuFC goes from there.
Yeah, looks like they're gonna just do a straight to the tower and just drop it instantly. So, well, looks like they had all their second tier tower cleared.
Yep, so that's going to be a nice little gold boost for our Hellborn team here. The 8-1 and 2 Wretched Hag going to get a nice gold pick-me-up, and also Scout, who's well over 600 GPM at this point. Other interesting items that have been grabbed here. I think Glacius just finished a push book on the courier. Yep, there it is. That tablet of command is on the way. And here we go in the mid. Scout needs to be a little careful. Is there any detection for this Legion side? Yeah, a couple of wards of rev down the inventory. 3 actually across the 3 int heroes. Plenty wards of rev, so Scout needs to be very careful where he walks. See one down here right outside the Ancients.
Yep, definitely. Well, you don't want to be too overconfident and get caught by your opponent, and after that, when you die, you bring your team down, and they will your opponent will start pushing and you start losing tower, and from there, one mistake can cause the whole game to lose. So it's better to play safe, even though this is the best of 3. So yeah, just play safe.
Yep, certainly right. I know at this point that those squishy supports are just a free kill for Scout. I mean, he's just critting so hard, and here we go. We're going to have some initiation to start this fight off. Legion Courier are going to get taken out to start it off, as well as most of their heroes going to fall. They are going to be able to pick up a kill onto Bubbles, but that's going to be about it. Unfortunately, Scout getting CC'd quite a bit there. Token's going to be alive. He's going to walk into a ward of Rev. Needs to be very careful. They're not going to have enough damage to finish him off. The red power throw going to connect, but he is going to be able to back up. So it's going to be a 1 for 2, although the Courier getting taken out. That fight, of course, much in favor of our Hellborn side, now leading 16 to 4. Scout going to go up and clear out the Ancients for us.
Yep, that's right. And Scout just now did a really bold thing. He just activated his Drunken Head and just go for the squishy supports. And well, really bold Scout, and I have to say, but well, he's doing a very good job over here. So well, 633 GPM. Really pretty farm up. Yeah,
hard to argue with 630 GPM Scout for sure. 4,400 gold in the bank, still has the token. Yeah, he's in great shape. See here, no buybacks used yet, so that's even scarier for Scout. Just pooling that gold for buyback right now, I imagine, until he burns the token.
Yep, definitely. So right now, I think they are trying to position themselves into a better place so that they will be able to land some. Okay, I think there's an initiation going on right here. Scout is actually really aggressive, tanking the tower, standing at the front line. Just come at me, bro. I'm not afraid of you. Come on, Legion team. Just spam me your spells. I'm going to tank everything. And he's going to set positions for his teammate to actually grab and find position to actually initiate in. But I think they could not find it. And
yeah, looking for it. This Legion team playing very patiently here, exactly what they needed. You saw Captain Arsenal there trying to bait the engage, as you were pointing out. He was doing a great job as well, but GuC not going to fall for the bait. There you go. There's a marksman shot onto Moon Queen. And is this going to be the initiation? Polywog Priest going to come out. There's the Hex onto Witch Slayer. No follow-up, though. Moon Queen going to burn the Geo images. They're going to be down. Yep, that's going to be the end of Polywog Priest. That's not the engage that GuC was looking for. Looks like there may have been a bit of a miscommunication there. Tofu hopping out, and nobody else on the team there to support him. Bubble's going to go now. Kelfield going to connect with a couple, and that's going to be enough for an easy kill onto Hiroki. Wretched Hag maybe overcommitting a little bit. Moon Queen doing a lot of damage. Shell Surf going to connect, not going to be taken by Bubbles, though. As Moon Queen heads back to the well. Mid lane of Rax are going to get exposed, and I think they're going to fall momentarily. There may be a glyph up for this Legion side, but it'll just buy GuC precious seconds. Scout going to go down here. Token going to be popped. He's going to come back. He's going to eat a stun. There's a Moon Finale right after. Unfortunately, there's a lot of creeps nearby. And the Moon Finale not going to do too much damage. He's going to be able to pick up a double kill. That will be enough for Glacius and Bubbles, but not even close to finishing off Scout. Well, I guess that was pretty close. 300 HP. So pardon me. Better Moon Finale than I gave him credit for. I guess those creeps were a little bit further back than it appeared. So a nice cleanup overall. Unfortunately, the melee racks are down. The damage has been done. Hellborn team still finding a very cost-effective exchange.
Yeah, exactly right. Just now, de-engage Scout actually too overextended, and I know that he wants to waste the token of life because he's already fully geared, if you can see, and he has 6,300 gold at the bank, so he wanted to waste the token of life so that he can purchase a new item, but his teammates went aggressive with him together, and he bring his teammates down. So oh wow, they underestimate the power of Moon Queen, where you see the Moon Finale did a pretty nice job down there. So yeah,
absolutely right. You know, I saw that wave of creeps coming in, and I thought that they were taking damage, but at the end, the creeps hadn't taken maybe but one beam out of all 10, I believe. Is that 10? Yeah, there you go, 10 at level 3. So the creeps, I guess, weren't quite close enough to really intercept much of that ult. So a very well placed ulti by Moon Queen. Every so often I get caught up in the heat of the moment, man. Can't all be perfect. My apologies, folks. But regardless, Scout with 6.6k, he's pulling up. I imagine he's going to end up right-clicking a Savage Mace or something here in the upcoming moments. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking in the way of item choices right now, but I think he can afford pretty much anything. Hell, even maybe a Frostwolf Skull might be a good choice here. He's got enough gold for sure.
Yep, definitely. He can almost right-click anything. I mean, everything. He can buy everything. So it's totally up to him whether if he wants to go for a tanky build or a full DPS build. So we've seen him play a tank build in the previous game against MuFC. So he actually went for Behemoth's Heart. So I'm not sure if he's going to go for a Behemoth's Heart on this game, but I suppose not. He's most probably going for full DPS.
Yeah, I'm not sure this game's going to go on long enough to warrant that Behemoth Heart, but yeah. Full DPS may very well just be the route here. What's his score? He's 5-0-8. So yeah, he's powerful enough. I mean, just look at the level difference here. He is level 20, 600 XP per minute. Just look at that chart. Moon Queen, the only one even close to him. Everyone else, he's tripling in the way of experience right now. So that level difference is absolutely huge. So he's by nature just kind of tankier than a lot of these other heroes just because of that super high level. He's got all those extra stats. So I think you're right. I think he might be able to get away with just a straight DPS build, at least for now. I still love Frostwolf Skull just because of that slow, especially with the cleave from Rune Cleaver. It makes it so hard to get away from Scout. Also a great anti-carry item against that Moon Queen, slowing down her attack speed as well. Just one of my favorite choices. The problem with Frostwolf Skull is really just that it's so expensive. That's the biggest problem. It's hard to farm up. It takes a lot of pieces. When you can right-click it, that kind of thwarts some of the issues associated with Frostwolf Skull. Savage Mace, though, as I mentioned, sort of a fail-safe. Can't go wrong with the Savage Mace. And, wow, he's going to prove me wrong. He's going to go with the Behemoth Heart. So that answers that question. He wants to be a tanky scout.
Oh, yeah, and he sold his Rune Cleaver. So I think he's going for another core item we can see here. So, wow. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to sell away the Rune Cleaver because I actually love the Rune Cleaver.
I'm a little
surprised. I mean, this is his game. This is his game and this is his build. So I'll just respect that, and yeah, we'll see what he will go for his next core item.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't see much of an advantage to selling the Rune Cleaver. I mean, he's running around with an empty inventory slot. He's got 5k in the bank. The Rune Cleaver gives him more damage, gives him more regen. I don't know. Why not just hang on to it a little bit longer, clear that jungle just a little bit faster? Why not? If you have an empty inventory slot anyhow, who knows? But perhaps waiting for Kong. Yeah, Kong's going to respawn here, and perhaps that's what he's anticipating, that they'll try and take a Kongor kill. Of course, he'll need a slot for the token. Very well. Could be. Never mind. Going to prove us wrong again. He's going to right-click a Wingbow. So that's going to be furthering that kind of tanky scout build that we were talking about, but also going to give him a huge boost in DPS. So that is one fantastic scout build. So tanky right here. Fade going to walk into the danger zone. Scout going to go straight in. That'll be the end of Aluna as this fight starts off. It looks like this Legion team is just going to get massacred. Glacius going to go toe-to-toe with Moon Queen, almost going to be able to survive. A regen going to pop up, kind of a bittersweet ending for the Moon Queen as Scout finishes him off right as that regen gets picked up. Wow, talk about a long-distance snipe. I don't know how he had the range for that, but he's going to be able to finish off Polywog Priest. That's going to be a clean sweep, 1 for 5. And the GG well played's come out. GuC going to tap out for game number 1 here. We're moving into game number 2, man. One hell of a game 1. Yeah,
definitely. The game was very close until Scout went out of control after he get his Rune Cleaver, and they did not manage to actually attempt to stop Scout from his farming. So eventually he gets out of control, and slowly and bit by bit he gets his core item and just dominating the game. So yeah.
Absolutely, my friend. A couple core numbers to point out here. Scout ending that game 7-0-9, and Bubbles 0-2-14. Although he had the worst KDA on this Hellborn side, the only one to not pick up a kill. Huge amount of assists, so that speaks to how active Bubbles was throughout that entire match. So sit tight, guys. We're going to have game number 2 coming up momentarily here in this final series in the September online qualifier for the Malaysian Han National Championship 2012. I'm Zyori. With me was Min. Thank you so much for joining us. We got another game coming up here in just a moment.